Welcome to our next Soflex Math lesson. Today we're talking about GCF, which is known as greatest common factor. Once again, this time your problem, you're going to have to find the greatest common factor, or find the GCF based on two numbers. So this time they're going to have always two numbers kind of in the problem, and you're going to have to find a single digit number or one number. It might not be single digits, but one number is going to be your answer. What is the greatest common factor? So what we're going to do is we're going to list all the factors of our two numbers. So we're going to start with 12, and we're going to start with the number 1. Okay. And this time remember, we want to do least to greatest. This is why we wanted to do that, because we're trying to find the greatest common factor. So first part we're working on is factors. So we're going to do 1, and we know that also is 1 times 12. So I'm going to spread it out and kind of plan ahead. I also know that it's going to be 2 times 6. And I also know it could be 3 times 4. So these are all my factors. So one of my answers up here is either going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, or 12. So I found factors. We don't know yet because we know we have to do the 24. So same way, 1, and I know 24 is obviously a factor. And we're going to go with 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6, and 5, no, 7, no, we already did 8, 9, 10, all right, so on. Okay, so here's all our list. So we found our factors, so that's step 1, so we're kind of working backwards. Now we want to say which one of these is the same, which one is common, which one do we have in both columns. So let's take a look. So we have a 1 and a 1. We have a 2 and a 2, a 3 and a 3, a 4, a 4, a 6, a 6, 12, and a 12. So we didn't have an 8 in both. We don't have a 24 in both. So those ones are out of here. All right. So now we found the factors, and we found out which ones are common. Now our last step is to figure out which one of those is the greatest. So which one is the biggest between all these that we have underlined in green? So 1s, 2s, 4, we go on and we find out that the greatest number, the biggest number in both of those columns is 12. So the greatest common factor of 12 and 24 is 12. Okay, and just so you kind of know, this is going to be very helpful for simplifying fractions. So when we get to simplify later, this is what you're going to divide by. So if you had a fraction, for example, just as a preview, if your fraction came out as 12 over 24 and you needed to simplify it, you're going to find the greatest common factor, which is 12, because then you can divide each of those by 12 and you end up with 1/2. So that's why we're finding the greatest common factor. It's going to help us simplify our fractions, because all answers need to be in simplest form by the time you get to, 4th, 5th grade, and so on as you continue on. All right, so let's try another example. So let's find another pair and see if we can do the same thing. All right, so we have a little bit bigger numbers here. So now we have the numbers 21 and 56. So we're going to go through the same process though. 1, I'll put a 21 down here. 3 times 7, and that's about it. Those are the only 4 factors of 21, which means, once again, I can skip ahead. My answer up here is either going to be 1, 3, 7, or 21. All right, so now we're going to go with our 56, so a lot bigger number. So 1 and 56. 2, I know it's 2 because we have a even number. So if it's an even number, I know that it can be divided, by 2. So we're going to say 28 for that one. All right, 3, no. What about a 4? All right, and if you don't know, it's no problem to make a little problem down here and say, okay, 4 goes into 5 once, and we get a 16. So yeah, it does work. 4 and 14. All right, 5 I know doesn't. 6 doesn't. Oh, I do have a 7 times an 8. Okay. So there's all my factors of 56. Here's all my factors of 21. All right, and then our next step, if you remember, was to figure out those are the factors. Now, which ones are in common? So let's do that in yellow here. So we have 1s got 7. And that's about it. So our answer has to be 1 or 7. So our final part is to say which number is bigger, 1 or 7. And I'm pretty sure we can all say 7. All right, and once again, just a sneak preview. If we add 2156 and we wanted to simplify it, we divide it by our greatest common factor, which is divide the top and bottom by 7 in order to get 3/8. So 2156 is equivalent to 3/8 in simplest form. So this one would be wrong on a test if that's what you wrote. This would be the correct answer. So we always want to simplify our work. All right. So let's do one last example before I let you practice on your own. All right. So this time we have 9 and 36. So we're going to list our factors again. 1, 3 times 3. We only have to write it once. And 9. 1 times 9 and 3 times 3. Okay. So now with this one, we don't have to do almost everything. We can just say, does 1 work? Yeah, 1 and 36. And does 3 work? Yeah, 3 and 12. Does 9 work? Yeah, 4 times 9. So I didn't have to list all of them because we knew one of our answers, they have to be in common. And this one only had 3, so I knew that it had to be 1, 3, or 9. As long as I found out that 9 was a factor of both, I'm able to write that as my greatest common factor. So once again, hopefully this lesson was pretty easy to follow, and we will see you in our next episode of Soflex Math. Thanks for joining us.